Hello. Hello and welcome to my first pilot, the first pilot of Interview with Cicely Whiteley. I am your host, Cicely Whiteley, and I want to tell you about this show. This is a show that we will talk about travel, we will talk about food, family, love, and life, and especially from a love perspective. I am so excited that you've allowed me to come onto these airwaves and chat with you just a bit, and a few people that I have brought with me. I am just flabbergasted. I'm so excited today. I want to thank you. I definitely want to thank you for tuning in. So, food is important, right? We're going to dive right in. Food is important, and we all need it to survive. But when we have the opportunity whew, to enjoy it, especially the experience that I had at this restaurant, oh, I just can't wait to tell you all about it. So, this section we call the Food-Gasm. Our first guest is Michael Donahoe. He is the Chief Creative Officer of the Waffle Experience. Hello, Michael.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
I came to your restaurant and I had the most pleasurable meal. It was delicious. And when I ate it, especially after those fried capers,
Oh, yeah.
I thought to myself, I said, whoever created this, I have got to talk to them and get to know them and see how they came up with this awesome idea. So, okay, so when it comes to food, you know how people are. They want to know where you're from. Like, what are your origins, especially when it comes to food, right?
I grew, basically my family is Irish mostly.
Okay.
Dempsey, Donahoe background.
Okay, very good.
My father, we lived in Michigan for a little while, Detroit area. And in the 1960s, early 70s, we moved to Alaska. So I grew up most of my life in Alaska.
Really?
And we lived kind of rural. We lived, the town I grew up in was about 78 people
Wow.
for about 600 square miles. So
Ooh, that is, yeah,
there wasn't a lot of people.
Wasn't
no.
a lot. Wasn't a lot, but that's okay. Something good came from Alaska.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
By way of Michigan.
Definitely.
So how long has cooking been your passion?
Since the beginning. I mean, I think I told my mom once I was never going to get married. And she said I better teach my boy how to cook. So that was
like
the
your
whole
mom.
start.
That's how it started?
That's how it
I
started.
like your mom. So then share with me, what is the waffle experience? Like, you know, how did you come up with the concept? And then what do you want let's just start with how you came up with the concept.
Concept actually started back in late 90s. I was working at Hotel Nico in Beverly Hills,
Okay.
California. And I had been playing around with some ideas for concepts and helping out with the organization a little bit there. And believe it or not, we kept having all of this waffle batter left over. And I'm not a wasteful person. I grew up very
good.
unwasteful in my life. And so that just kind of set me off where I said, I got to figure out something to do with it. So I started playing around with it, and we started serving it more savory for accompaniment for some items. And that kind of kept growing and growing and growing. And so as I traveled, went from different positions, I always would put a waffle of some sort, savory or sweet, on one of my menus, regardless of what type of concept it was. So when I decided, I kind of got it all lined out, I was like, I think I can pull this off.
And then do it on your own.
Yeah,
and have completely have your own concept.
Absolutely.
And thus the waffle experience.
Yep.
So what is it that you would like your customers, when they come, what do you want them to, take away? You go to certain places, you either have a famous this, famous that, but you want them to take away something. What do you want them to take away from your food?
Honestly, I think what we're hoping them to understand is that we're all about pretty much what you say: family, love, and community. The restaurant was open. The hours are a little unique for a restaurant. They're only 8 to 3.
Okay.
We did that for a couple of reasons, but primarily for the staff. I believe in the staff being able to take their kids to school and pick them up and have dinner with them at night. So we've created this concept based on that. I've been in this industry, kind of date myself here, but almost 33 years.
Awesome.
And
Okay.
I was in it for so long, working the 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Before I opened this restaurant, I worked 48 weeks straight without a day off.
Wow.
And the average was 14-hour days.
Yeah, that's almost a year.
Yeah, it's rough.
Wow.
So, but when you're in charge of big venues, things like that, that's kind of how it is. So in being a restaurateur or a business owner, that's basically how it is. So trying to change that ideology into something that was successful was pinnacle. So, we could have opened earlier, we could have opened, stayed later, but it wasn't necessary. We make what we make, we pay our bills, and we pay ourselves, and we help out in the community, and we keep our employees happy. We pay them as best we can, but for the most part, we give them a chance to see their kids in the morning and give them a chance to pick them up at night and have dinner with them. So that to me is vital. That's the primary thing that I want to do.
That is amazing.
Thanks.
Absolutely amazing. And see, when I had my wonderful, pleasurable experience, because it was so good. I went twice in 1 month. I told my husband, we have got to go back. I'm sorry, take me back there. But I mean, even asking and wanting to know how you came up with this concept, I knew nothing about that. And that's amazing that your mindset would be that you're, people first, right? People over policy.
Well, I think it's important in the fact that, you see businesses running and, they're struggling to make ends meet, but I think too often you don't get to see what's going on in the back side of things and what people are doing. And I think that's when we opened the restaurants and we started doing this, we realized, why do we need to stay open later? What's the point? We do caterings, things like that. I started franchising the concept, so we have one open already, and we have 2 more going in California, and then probably all over California for that matter. And then we're already starting to branch out across the U.S. and overseas markets as well. So it's something that I want to take across the nation, obviously. And we're not going to change the concept too much as far as family friendly. So it's family friendly for the patrons and obviously family friendly for our staff. And I think that's the key.
I like that. That is the key. So I came to the location that you have in Natomas, and then you have 2 other locations that are already open now. What other location is that?
Well, one of our second one is in Folsom. That one I own as well. And then our first franchise is actually in Elk Grove. And
Yay,
they're doing very well. Their first year, their sales are better than my restaurants, my own restaurants. So they're doing really well. We're very happy. They're doing a great job down there.
That is awesome.
And everybody, it's a learning curve. So a lot of times, you can't be too hypercritical of people, but at the same time, you want the consistency, the food, and you want the atmosphere, and people be following the suit of what we created here, and the motto and the ideology of putting family first.
Family first.
So I worked for a place, it all started, I worked with a place called Gaylord Palms, and they had this, what they called a star first mentality.
Okay.
And a star first mentality was always putting your employees first.
Always.
You would listen to a situation with a guest, and if the guest was upset with one of your staff, you would hear their side, you'd hear your staff side, and then you had that determination to pick out who came first.
Right.
And if your employees were being honest and straight forthcoming with you, we could tell guests to go away. We would literally tell them, I'm sorry, but you crossed the line, you need to go. So when you do that, it gives a lot of respect for your staff. It gives them an opportunity to have a little empowerment, and that the right empowerment. And it creates that kind of atmosphere where everybody wants to see the success of the organization because they feel they're invested in it. Whether they're putting money into it or time, they're invested. So
because most jobs. So unlike your wonderful hours that takes care of your employees, I mean even yourself, right?
Absolutely.
48 weeks, no time off.
Oh, I take days off. I got days off now.
That's unheard of. All right, I know you do, right?
I went to Las Vegas last week.
I love it. So with that concept, most people spend more time with their coworkers or their boss, right? More than they do with their family.
Absolutely.
So I think that is absolutely amazing. I know when I came in, I love from the decor to the open kitchen, to the variety on the menu. I was sold out. Like literally, I could be your walk-in commercial because I was like, oh, I love this place. I tell people about it all the time. So I really love it. So, let me see here. Okay, so we are going to take a small break, and then we'll be right back, and we are going to talk a little bit about trying something new. I thank you so much for coming and chatting with me about my wonderful experience, and then sharing your concept about your business that definitely lines up with the values of this show. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you,
Michael.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.